The Celeste Rivas Hernandez case involving the singer David keeps getting weirder and weirder. I don't know if you believe in coincidences or if you don't, but there seems to be a lot of them right now. And at this point, coincidences, they don't imply guilt, but they do make us, the public, ask questions. So let's get into it. I'm Lauren Conlin. Welcome to Los Angeles Magazine. Give us a like or a subscribe. I am going over the pop culture, crime, and scandals. All right. Celeste Rivas Hernandez, she was a 14-year-old girl that was found deceased in David's Tesla. A Tesla registered, to him. And this Tesla was abandoned for over a month, multiple parking tickets in the Hollywood Hills, about, maybe a block or so away from his home. And it was eventually towed, got to a tow yard. The tow workers smelled a foul odor coming from the frunk of the car, and they called police, and there was a heavily decomposed body found, and it was Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a 14-year-old girl, and there have been subsequent ties between her and David through internet sleuths. And, these photos and these quote unquote live streams, or one live stream in particular that have been found or have surfaced, law enforcement has not confirmed those to be authentic. So just an FYI. And when Celeste's body was found, David was on tour. He eventually came back, and he ended up canceling his tour throughout the United States, and also his international tour dates. Those were canceled as well. And he has not been seen or heard from since. Now, on September 18th, the body found in the car, which again, the body was found on September 8th, but on the 18th, that's when it was publicly identified as Celeste. Also on the 18th, the cops, LAPD, raided the Hollywood Hills home that was occupied by David. And this was rented out by his manager. But so that also happened on the 18th. Well, as of October 9th, yesterday, TMZ reported that David, on September 18th, began to transfer his Texas homes out of his name into his mother's name. This doesn't imply guilt of red rum, nothing like that. However, it does cause me to just ask some questions. Why? Why on the 18th, when all of this was going on? It definitely seems coincidental. And again, I have nothing else to add there, except I wanted to match those dates for everybody and just, put it out there into the universe. Additionally, when the body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, again, we didn't know it was Celeste at first, but it was discovered on the 8th, and David was on tour, he did not come home right away. He did not say, I better go. There was a body found in my car. He went on with his shows. Or I don't know exactly how many shows he did after that, but yeah, he really didn't cancel anything or come home for about a week or two. And look, I mean, it could be the fact that he was under contract with Interscope. It could be, just not his choice. We don't know. I wanted to point that out. I think it's a little strange, but again, I don't know all of the details there. Additionally, Los Angeles Magazine, I put out an article yesterday after speaking to a PI, Steve Fisher, that has been on the ground working on this case, and he confirmed something that I think is important. So, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, her digital footprint does seem to sort of disappear in 2025. It's been really tough, I think, for sleuths to really dig up her presence, dig up any posts or photos of her or communications. TMZ did release some they released ring cam footage of Celeste, and this was from September of 2024. And this was given to them, I guess, by neighbors at their apartment complex. But it shows Celeste really yelling at her family about some kind of prank they pulled on her. You know, we don't know what it was, but she seems really upset by this. And the point of me saying this is that this is 100% confirmed to be Celeste in 2024 in September with her family. Now, she first disappeared in February of 2024, but she came back multiple times, and she was never actually removed from the FBI missing persons database, which is, I guess, a little concerning per Steve Fisher, the PI that I was speaking to. So we have this confirmed September 2024 sighting. Well, Steve Fisher, the PI, told me yesterday that he has obtained a photograph. He has confirmed it's authentic, and it is from early 2025, and it is 100% Celeste. So he does have proof of life in 2025. He said that he was not able to share the photograph yet, tell us the exact month or the exact day. But again, this is proof of life of Celeste in 2025. And I think this helps with the timeline that he's trying to build. And also, you know, that police are trying to build as well. Who was she last seen with? Who, you know, where was she last seen? How long has she been deceased for? These are all questions that we don't know. All we know is when her body was found, police said it was severely decomposing. So much, in fact, that it was also reported by the media, and I guess me as well, because this is what LAPD said. They said that she was dismembered. At this point, I don't believe that she was dismembered at all. I mean, when LAPD put out an official statement on September 30th, they just said, you know, we're still looking into everything. We don't know if there will be any criminal culpability beyond concealment of a body. They didn't say abuse of a corpse, which would be dismemberment. And that leads me to my next point, that there have been no arrests made. Zero. And a lot of people are really confused as to why there wouldn't be any type of arrest made. Well, it's just, you know, it's not that easy, I guess. Number one, people are saying, well, what about an alleged relationship? She was a minor. You know, David is 20 years old. Well, it's going to be really hard now that she's deceased to prove there was some kind of sexual or alleged sexual relationship. And, you know, I know that David's home was searched. So they have devices there. They probably, you know, maybe have some hard drives from there. But who knows if they had, you know, his device on his person where they could get this data and, you know, contact Cellbrite. You need a warrant for that. And I guess I would think if you find a deceased person in someone's car, it would be easy to get that warrant. Who knows? But Steve Fisher, go check out the article. He is wonderful. LAmag.com. He gives a lot of good insights. And also he made a comment to me that he does believe that police at this point, with all of the video surveillance footage they probably collected from the Tesla, from the homes, from the streets, they know who was driving the Tesla around that time. They may not know who placed Celeste's body in the car, but they know at this point who had access to the vehicle. So I guess, you know, we will wait and see. But keep up, follow the story here. LA Mag, our YouTube, again, our website. I will be all over it because this girl, Celeste Rivas, she deserves justice. I do feel like she was failed in so many ways. But let's just move on really quickly to Mark Sanchez. So Mark Sanchez, there was a filing yesterday in his docket. And just as a reminder, he has been charged with a felony, an assault felony. And I believe he was recently released from the hospital in Indianapolis, Indiana, after getting into this altercation with an older man who was 69 years old, who's also suing him civilly at this point. After they had an altercation about this man trying to do his job, around midnight, he was collecting frying oil from these 2 hotels. He says Mark Sanchez got in his vehicle. They got in an argument. He defended himself and he stabbed Mark Sanchez. I'm obviously, skipping a lot of the details. But anyway, Mark Sanchez, he has a pretrial conference on November 5th, but he filed a motion, or his team filed a motion for him to be able to leave the state or travel out of state. And I believe this is because he wants to go back home with his family in California and, until November 5th. So I haven't seen a decision from the prosecutors yet. But again, that is another story that I am really paying attention to right now. So you can follow everything on lamag.com and also right here on the YouTube channel. Also, really quickly, there has been some movement in the Luigi Mangione federal case. So Luigi Manion, there are 2 cases against him. He is accused of red rumming United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson last December 2024. And again, the federal case against him, Pam Bondi said she's seeking the death penalty. So his team, they filed a motion, I believe it was in September, but the government had just responded. But basically, the defense said that, that the government violated a gag rule by having social media reposts out there by staff members. These staff members, I guess, reposted something about Mangione's case, and they are not directly involved with the case at all. But the defense says, that is not really fair, and that's a breach. They cannot make any type of public statement that could prejudice a trial, and they did. And so the government's memo just kind of says, well, these individuals were not associated with the case. This only applies to individuals associated with the case. However, we did have those individuals that reposted about the case or posted about the case. We had them delete everything. So it's not a thing anymore. So that is what the government said. The defense is still holding strong on their position. But yeah, the judge wanted an explanation from the government. And so, they gave one. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the prosecutors do plan a full opposition to these claims on October 31st. I'm not sure if it's going to be an oral argument or just a memo, but we'll wait and see. I am also all over the Mangione case as well. So yeah, follow it here on the YouTube or on lamag.com. Thanks everyone for joining me. I'm Lauren Conlin. Have a great weekend, and I'll see everybody Monday.